Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Advanced Bass Fishing, and man, I appreciate you guys coming by the channel to hang out with me a little bit. And guys, today I want to talk about what is the most advanced bass fishing tip I can give you. Out of every tip that you're going to hear on all three of my channels, this is the top of the heap right here. You know, say for example, in your bass fishing life, as you progress through it, when you start out down here at the bottom, you're like learning how to cast. Maybe that's the basic number one thing you learn in bass fishing. And what I'm going to talk about today is the last thing that you're going to master in bass fishing. And I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on how to achieve that in today's episode. Also, guys, before we get started, a couple quick things here. Just like to invite everybody, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, all you have to do is go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, shoot me a private message. And also, guys, we're getting stocked up for fall fishing season right now, and for the winter season coming up. I'd just like to encourage everybody, if you're needing to buy tackle or purchase tackle, if you use my tackle warehouse link that's in every video description here, just click on that link there. That's a great way to support the channel. Anything that you buy off of that link, if you use it, our channel gets a small percentage of the commission on a profit. So it's not a lot, but if you buy a crankbait or something, you know, we get a few cents off of it. So it's a good way to support the channel if you got to purchase some tackle anyway. So thank you very much for everybody who's been doing that. Okay, bass fishing, guys, you know, one of the things about it, you'll find out as you get into it more, it's the most complicated, difficult sport in the world. There's more variables. There's more controlled variables and more uncontrolled variables in the sport of bass fishing than any other sport. It's not even in the same universe. You've got thousands and thousands of different things that contribute to your success or lack of it in bass fishing. And as you go through your bass fishing life, it's a constant learning process. You're never, ever going to learn it. I'm a student still in the sport. I've been doing it for 50 years, and I've made my living doing it since 1985. And I still am I feel like I'm in grade school sometimes. I'm learning about it. And that's okay. That's one of the things that makes the sport so attractive. But as you go through your bass fishing life, there's different levels that you're going to reach, you know, as you progress as an angler. The final level that you're going to reach today, guys, or the final level anybody reaches in fishing, what I want to explain to you guys today, and it needs to be in your mind all the time, is tapping into your instincts and your intuition as an angler. Now, if when I say that, if you start to tune out, saying, Brandy, I don't want to hear about that crap about instincts and intuition. Give me the best color lure to throw out there, something like that. Just bear with me on this, because if you spend all of your time like going through YouTube videos and you're being entertained by fish catches, and somebody says, oh, this is the hottest bait of 2025, or man, you got to catch it, you know, try this new color here. Yeah, that may help you catch some fish. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it's going to help you grow at a snail's pace. In other words, of your consistency and skill level. Now, if you want to accelerate that process, and if you want to go from being just an average bass angler to a great bass angler, you have got to tap into your instincts and your intuition. And I want to explain that today, how you do that in today's video. Okay, now first of all, this is something that everybody has. There's every human on this planet, every creature on this planet. I don't care what it is. Every creature on this planet, even the bass, we have instincts and intuition about things that we should do or what we shouldn't do. And there is not another sport out there more prevalent as far as how you need to really incorporate instincts and intuition into your fishing. Because when I look at anglers out there, as far as some of the anglers I know that are just unbelievable, and some of the guys I know that they work their butt off, but they never get good. It's like they stay an average angler their whole life, even though they don't, you know, even though they work at it hard. The difference is, the people that tap into their instincts and intuition cross that threshold to become great. And the people that will not acknowledge or incorporate that instincts and intuition, they stay just average all the time. And like I said, it's not anything that they have that you don't have. They're just utilizing that skill that every single one of us has. So anyway, here's what you have to do. Here's how you develop that. And you don't ever reach it. You're always constantly working towards that. Even myself, nobody ever masters this. It's something that you get better and better at all the time. The first thing you have to do is you have to learn to trust yourself in fishing. And one of the best ways to learn how to trust yourself is through little successes. It's like, say, for example, you're fishing and you're not catching much and you decide to change a color. You look through your box, you say, man, that looks like a good color. Maybe I need to try that. And you put that color on and it works. Every single time that you have a success like that, that gives you confidence in your instincts and your intuition. So don't ever underestimate that. You need to acknowledge that. And every time that you make a right decision, say, for example, like you're working down a bank and you've got, there's a boat dock in front of you and you're looking at that boat dock and you go, man, if I was a bass, that spot on that dock right over there is where I would want to be, because maybe the shade's on it just right, or maybe there's a little piece of cover there, or there's something about it that just sticks out to you personally that appeals good, and you cast in there and you catch a fish. That builds your instincts and your intuition. Or say, for example, you're running down the lake and you're running, maybe you decide, I want to go down to this next creek down the lake down there. There's a creek 3 or 4 miles down the lake. I'm going to go try that creek. So you're running down to that creek and all of a sudden, you're running down the lake and you see something. Maybe you see like a log in the water, or maybe there's a little rock pile or something like that, or maybe there's a little 50-foot section of riprap. You go, I need to hit that, man. That feels pretty good the way it looks. I'm gonna go run over and hit that. And you don't just run past it. You go over there and you fish it for 5 minutes. Instincts and intuition. That is some of the obvious things about it. Now, the inobvious things about instincts and intuition is the thing that you really need to work on, and that is the feeling that you have as an angler. And this is one of the things I have talked about forever, guys, and this is where most people tune out. The people that tune out are the people that usually don't get very good as an angler. But if you listen to me and trust me on this, I can promise you it's going to pay off for you. When you are on the water and you have a decision to make, I don't care if it's a bait change or an area change or you're trying to figure something out, just take a second and feel internally how it feels if you make that decision. Say, for example, you're getting ready, you're not catching too much where you're fishing, and you decide you want to make a run down the lake to another spot that you think may work. Take a deep breath and just think for a second. It's like, okay, does this feel right? Does this just go, take a deep breath, go, does that feel right for me to do this? Or does that not feel right? It's like, does that bring like a peace to my stomach when I think about doing this? Or does that bring anxiety to me? Or does that bring fear or uncertainty? When you learn to understand how your body feels about a decision that you're going to make on the water, and by the way, this is not just on the water, this is in life in general, and you learn to trust that, and then you go with that, and then you see it pay off, that is how you develop your intuition. That's how intuition works, is by trusting yourself and seeing reproducible results in the decision that you make, working out pretty good. You always have to work with this, and you always have to pay attention to how you're feeling. And don't try to intellectualize something. It's like what I'm talking about, what I mean by intellectualize, don't try to make it make too much sense. If you're deciding, say for example, you're deciding to go to a different area on the lake, don't sit in your head and think about the possible things that could happen or couldn't happen. It's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go there because, man, there's a tournament going out this weekend, and maybe there's a bunch of people over there that's going to be fishing this spot, or it's the weekend and there's going to be a bunch of boat traffic on it. Just don't try to think too much. Don't think about it too much. Just pay attention to how it feels to do that. And that feeling, that instinct and intuition is the most powerful thing that you have as an angler. And especially as you get to a higher level angler. There is not a single bass angler that has ever achieved great success in the sport, won tournaments or anything, that has not tapped into their instincts and their intuition to some level. That's just part of it. Now, they may not acknowledge it, they may not be aware of it, but they do that. And if you press them on that issue and ask them the specific questions I'm talking about, you would understand that. So, main thing about the video, what I want to reiterate in this video, guys, is there's so much to learn in bass fishing. Yeah, you have to learn about everything. You got to learn how to run your trolling motor and read depth finders and make lure selection changes, and you got to understand about line sizes and reel ratios, and there's just a There's a billion things that you have to learn, but above anything else, guys, is just trust your instincts and your intuition, and always keep that at the forefront of your mind in your fishing and your life in general. And I can promise you that's what separates the average dudes, the average anglers, from the great anglers. So just work at it. I know it's not sexy, it's not flashy, it's boring, but it works. So hope it helps you guys out. We'll talk later.